Hey, everybody, welcome back to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Maja Taylor, a career ownership coach with the Entrepreneur Source, where she helps professionals explore opportunities beyond their traditional job market. With a background in talent development, science education, and leadership coaching, Maja is passionate about guiding individuals towards self-sufficiency, success, and personal transformation. How are you doing today, Maja?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Anthony, and thanks for having me on. So,
Absolutely.
for your audience, he's incredible. You need to talk to Anthony. You need to support his mission and cause. He's so generous with his time and support of entrepreneurship, which, that's why I'm here anyway. I'm really glad I ran into you through networking. So I appreciate you
Yeah, no,
talking to me.
I appreciate that. Thanks. Well, to start off, you're doing a lot of awesome things, but where are you calling in from? Where are you located?
So I am located in the beautiful state of Pennsylvania, about an hour northwest of Philadelphia,
Okay.
East Coast, Northeast. Yep.
Have you been there for a while, or are you newer to the area?
No, I've been here for a while. About I stopped counting at 20 years. I'm originally from Germany. Moved to the States about half my life in Europe, and then lived, worked, traveled globally in the US and America and also Europe as well. So, but Pennsylvania is home now. And yeah, we love it here.
Okay. If you have some friends coming into town that have never been, where are you going? What are you going to do for fun? And what are you going to do for dinner?
That's a loaded question. There's so much to do here. We always run out of time. So it depends on what they want to do. If it's culture and city oriented, there's lots to do here. Philadelphia has a fantastic art scene. Of course, founding fathers met here. There's, the Independence Hall, Liberty Bell, and all those things to explore. Constitution Center. We have a fantastic art museum. The performing arts are really great here. Or New York is not far either. Washington, D.C., if you're into, the Smithsonian's and all that. And then there's lots of nature. If you want to do the mountains, you can do that here. If you want to get in the middle of nowhere where nobody can find you, you can do that. We have a beach too. If you like the ocean and kind of stick your toes in the sand, we can do that too. There's so much variety. It depends on what my friend wants to do.
I got you. Yeah, no, that's one of those areas where it's like, yeah, it's up to you. We can
It
do
is up
any
to
of
you.
it or all of it. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. So, what can you tell us about what you do?
What can I tell you? Well, I am a career coach at heart. I've been a coach for over 15 years, and my background is really, I come from corporate America, like so many of my clients that I work with. Um, Science by background and training, and then I pivoted about through my career into corporate HR and specifically talent development. So my interest was always high around helping people develop and figure out what they want to do next in their career. That's a little bit my drug, that aha moment when I talk to clients and they have a realization through our work together or what they learned in conversations of, aha, this is what I want to do. And it's always inside already. I just kind of help catalyze that out and bring that to the surface. So I have a very career coaching centered approach, but I specialize in helping people become self-sufficient, right? So it's all about how can you work for yourself and build your own goals, dreams, and visions instead of working for someone else and helping build their dream and equity. So it's about people talk a lot about, oh, I want financial freedom or financial independence. What does that look like to you? Right? Let's define that. And there's a series of assessments around that. What does work-life balance look like to you? People talk about that a lot, but it means different things to different people. So I spend a good amount of time just clarifying where they want to take this. And then it's all educational. It's a free educational journey to help you clarify whether business ownership is for you. So some people have never thought about it. Some people have flirted with the idea. I work with folks who are career transitioners. I work with folks who have maybe already dabbled in business ownership. Some of them have business already and they're looking to build something else on the side that has a different focus or just add additional income streams. So there's a pretty broad variety of people that I work with, but it all centers around finding their mission, passion, purpose, finding the right income and equity and wealth building for them, and then we'll explore options that fit what they're looking for.
So what made you pivot into doing this, individual? Like you said, you've been doing a lot of this stuff for a while, but why entrepreneurship? What got you started down that path?
Oh gosh, that's a loaded question. How much time we have? So I started my own coaching side gig company about 12-ish, 13, 14 years ago. But I was still working a job, W-2 job within corporate. And that was a great career. I learned a lot. I've met a ton of really great people, and I believe it got me ready for what I'm doing now. There's a reason why certain people and experiences come into your life, and I just paid attention. So I got really serious about entrepreneurship about 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, and ran into a coach who helped me catalyze and make that step and make that transition. Not saying that entrepreneurship is better. It's definitely different. There are certain skill sets and experience that you need to bring to the table to be successful. And I help my clients get there. So for me, it was getting myself ready. And I was just sick and tired of the revolving door of bosses who all had their own great, wonderful strategy or shiny idea on how to make something a reality. And then they left 4 months, 6 months. It was just next boss, okay. And every time you got to learn how to communicate with them, how do they want to execute, how, it was this constant change, and we just didn't get really any traction on newness. I got my work done and accomplished my goals. So I was like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I should be working for myself. So that's what I did. And now I can't go back. I really enjoy the creativity, the freedom, the income of being my own boss. And I'm so passionate about it that I want to help others do the same. Now, their path might not be like mine. It might be very different. There is many ways to roam. So let's find your path, right?
Yeah, there's something about getting a taste of entrepreneurship. If it's for you, it's going to make you unemployable, right? You can't really go
Absolutely.
back.
And that's where I'm at now.
Yeah. So sorry you caught the bug. No, yeah, I like that. And you started talking about your passions and
Mhm.
what you like to help people. But what is it, at its core? What's your favorite thing about what you're doing?
There's not just one favorite thing. I really love working with my clients. The one-on-one. In prior roles, it was often a classroom setting, which I still like. I don't mind that, or presentations, that's still fun. But really getting to know somebody, and I tell you, this is a very emotional journey for a lot of people. This is not an easy decision, right? We're talking about investing in yourself. Not only is there money involved, but that belief in yourself. And when I can see somebody having those light bulb moments where they're pivoting to, okay, yes, I can do this. And it's often the funniest things that will transpire in the conversations. It may be a little pivot to me, but to them, it's a big thing. So listening intently and understanding and meeting the client where they are, that for me is the joy. And I have the best clients. I I've met so many incredibly talented people, motivated people, people who were stuck. I've had lots of crying conversations with people who were just devastated, didn't know, what do I do next? Nobody wants to hire me. This job search has been grueling. I've been looking for a year and a half. I've been looking for 6 months. I've had these interviews. Then now they're ghosting me. It's a pretty tough environment out there when you have the skills, right? When I can contribute and I can't even get through. Nobody will talk to me. So I will help them with a job search strategy too, if that's where they want to go. If somebody that I work with decides, business ownership is not for me, I want to stay in W-2 world. There are tools and resources for that too. It's just not my focus. I'm just too passionate about entrepreneurship now. So for me, my favorite part is, working directly with the client and seeing the impact and the transformation. I can watch it in real time over a couple of months. That's just very rewarding.
And you alluded to the fact that you can work with a lot of different people, but when you're looking at like your average client, what are the pain points or the things that somebody might be dealing with that if they're going through X, Y, or Z, you're the person that they should be talking to?
So the biggest criteria to work with me is having an open mind. If some if someone can't commit to a learning mindset, we're probably not going to work out. I'm all about that. As a scientist, it's asking all the questions, eliminating what doesn't work, and finding what does. Um, as as a coach, HR person, it's all about keep 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 an open mind and learn something new because you might not know it all. People think they do, right? Whatever you've learned up until this point has put certain filters and ideas in your mind. Be prepared to be surprised. And that includes not only, which whether business ownership is right for them or whether they need to go a different route. And then I connect them with the resources. It's not just a question of, okay, which business is it? Now that I've decided I want to become a business owner and I got the stuff. Um, it's also about learning what can funding look like for you? What kind of a person are you? What does financial freedom mean to you and how do you get there? It's a very step-by-step journey. So the client needs to commit to that, right? That is really key. It's a commitment to yourself in the end. So there are definitely stumbling blocks that could come along the way, but I've never met a challenge that couldn't be turned into an opportunity. It's about asking the right question and then reaching out to the appropriate resources.
What about power partners? What are other individuals or industries out there that you synergize really well with, or that you can collaborate with, or you refer back and forth well with?
Great question. Depending on which problems the client runs into, we partner with funding partners. We partner with credit repair because sometimes people run into this issue. Okay, I'm unemployed. I haven't had an income. I've depleted all my savings. Now there's no money to dump into business ownership, right? How do we get around that? And they'd be surprised how many options there are actually out there to help people. So we work through that. I have a ton of different business partners in different industries who are just like my process, very educational about, their models and what's possible. SCORE is somebody we partner with. So that's SCORE is affiliated with the SBA, the Small Business Administration, and we're actually a SCORE approved business. They have a ton of free resources, right? So if what I recommend or what we uncover in our journey isn't their path, but they still want to explore, maybe doing their own startup consultancy, or, I want to produce these unicorns, rainbow colored unicorns, and there is no business that's in my portfolio that fits. Then SCORE is a great resource to have. There's lots of learning around the basics, what one needs to know when going into business ownership. Right? You need an accountant. You need your power team. You need your attorney. You need a banker. Like you need all those people. So I connect people with all the components that they would need to start up and run a successful business.
What advice would you give to a new or aspiring entrepreneur?
Go all in. There are lots of different models out there, and you can do business ownership as full-time owner operator. You could do semi-absentee. You could do just investor. You could be a silent partner with somebody, right? There's lots of options. Whichever option you choose, commit to it, because your effort and investment of time, sweat, equity directly correlates to your results, especially in the beginning. Once you have it set up, and in the setup, nobody cares as much about your success as you do, right? It's an investment in you. Make sure you surround yourself with good people, but fully commit. Make sure you partner with great partners who make you a better you, and maybe fill some of those skill gaps or knowledge holes that you might have, but go in all committed.
Okay. How can professionals transition from a traditional career to business ownership?
There's many different ways. If I'm going to talk about the easiest one, it's finding a turnkey templated business, which is kind of what I specialize in. But there are other ways. You could, if you have a passion and a long time hobby that you're really excited about, if you work that, it'll never feel like you're working a day in your life, right? Because you're having just fun doing it. And what a great way to make money too. But that can be a double-edged sword. Sometimes turning a hobby into a business could also mean that maybe you're losing a bit of that passion because it's overused. You're spending too much time in it. So got to be careful on that. And I explore that with my clients. Um, Maybe it's purchasing or investing in an existing business where somebody has done all that startup work already, where clients are coming in, the doors are open, and your cash flow will be a little bit sooner than if you're building something yourself from the ground up. That's another path. Um, but we talk about the due diligence process there, making sure we're really looking under every stone and making sure they're not getting themselves in a bad deal. There's consulting, of course, right? If somebody's done that on the side already or in a corporate world, that kind of lends itself. Investing in a franchise is probably the easiest option because somebody has already taken all the work and figured out what produces success or failure in a particular model. So it's easier for you to, instead of making all those mistakes on your own, follow somebody else's path, right? It's the marketing systems are in place, the onboarding, the training, there's hiring support. There's probably real estate support if it's a physical location. Sometimes it's a virtual location, right? But they help you with what it takes to launch you successfully. So for a W-2 employee who's transitioning out of, traditional employment into entrepreneurship, that is probably the easiest to do and bridging the gap because it could be a potential scary adventure. And the whole setup of turnkey businesses makes it just a little bit more less scary, I should say, and more successful and quicker too.
So, do you have any real life examples or any stories about how career coaching can help individuals achieve financial independence and fulfillment?
Career coaching helps with financial independence. So I start with what are their current skill sets and strengths, and what are your passions, right? How do
I,
we try
I,
to marry them together?
I guess, I mean, do you have any like examples where you've done that to kind of say,
Yep.
hey, this is a.
Yeah. Some people have not really done that analysis,
Mhm.
right? And they're miserable for 20 years in a career that may pay well, may not pay well. So in some cases, they have to make sacrifices, right? But recent example, I had a gentleman who was in finance. Has been had a very successful career there, but was really kind of missing, what makes him feel energized and passionate about going to work every day. So not that it was a bad career at the time, that was the right decision, but it was time to get out. So he landed in a pet franchise because just always loved working with dogs, right? Loved extending the family with the furry four-legged kind. And it's great to see that all the skills that he brought from his prior roles, the financial background, the leadership skills, the project management and people connection that he had naturally from his role because he was a leader, really helped propel the business to success faster. So he's doing really well. Increasing his staff and actually looking at purchasing an additional territory and building more units. So the experience from a prior career can be really helpful. And we kind of walked through all the questions and assessment to make sure this was the best match for him. And it's surprising to people often that those transferable skills really will get you to the success that you're looking for.
Absolutely, yeah. Even if it's a completely different industry, a lot of the bones are going to be
Absolutely.
similar, and you're going to
Yeah.
need a lot of those skills. So that's awesome. So one thing is, what sets you apart? Why you? There's, no matter what you're doing, there's a million other people out there doing something similar to what you're doing. So what sets you apart from everybody else out there?
That's a tough question to answer when you don't like tooting your own horn. But I ask my clients at the end of our calls, what's valuable to you? And it's things like, you've been able to explain to me what I was thinking all along. Thank you for helping me see that clearly. You will walk away with a sense of clarity so you can step confidently into your next phase. There will be no questions unasked. None of my clients wander around in the desert still, right? It's either a clear yes or a clear no. And if we're still in between, we haven't asked the right questions. So um, even if it's a no, we celebrate that clarity, right? If it's business ownership is not for me, I'm just going to find my next job. That's great. You now know that for sure. At least you've given yourself that opportunity and permission to learn. People say that I understand where they're coming from. Most people are in a low spot when they're looking for a new job. And it can be an emotional roller coaster. Anybody who's been in that journey knows what I'm talking about. And just meeting them where they are. There's actually some grief and life coaching included in this career piece, right? It's just part of the game. The integration between what you want to do for a living, living your life purpose, and clearly clarifying that, making sure it fits in with the other interests that you have. Maybe there's a hobby that takes X amount of hours in a week that you haven't been able to spend time doing. Well, we're going to figure out a way on how to make that happen, and you're not losing out financially, right? Really figuring out that balance and integrating your career with your life. I think that's what people comment on a lot when they work with me. Ultimately, happiness, right? It's that integration of career and life more so than the balance, I would say. Why not be happy doing what you do most of your waking hours instead of miserable? What's the point, right? We all have a limited amount of time here on this planet. Make it count. Make it count.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like that. Regardless of the result, then they know. You want to resolve that, right?
Yep.
It's like, is this for me? No. No is a viable answer. People
It
are
is.
afraid to know, but a lot of times that's just, it can be more important than, figuring out where it's like, I didn't want to end up actually doing that, and you discover that and you have that self-discovery, it gets you closer to where you're
Yep.
supposed to be. So that makes a lot of sense. I love that. And I know we can go down the rabbit hole on all of this because there's so much out there, but is there anything in particular that I missed or that I failed to ask that you wanted to add?
Take a chance on your future, and you have nothing to lose, right? This is a free offer. I don't charge for my services. Why not ask some questions and dig deeper and figure out, am I really where I'm supposed to be right now? Most clients that find me are not. They're like, I've not been able to grow. I'm kind of bored. Yes, it's a great organization. The culture is awesome, but I'm not making the kind of money I want to make. I'm not getting to my retirement the way I wanted to, or I'm not seeing my kids enough. I've always been wanting to write a book and I don't have the time, right? So give yourself permission to explore and know that it is possible. I'm living proof that it is possible to make your career better and better. Just have to take that step.
For those that are ready for that step or just want to know more, how can they get a hold of you? Where can they find you?
Well, I am on LinkedIn, Maja Taylor. And I know you have some links that you're going to share. So majataylor.com is my website. Book some time on my calendar. It's just a conversation. You really have nothing to lose, and it's free.
Absolutely. Do that. I'm going to put all the stuff in the show notes so it's super easy to find. You should have that conversation. If you're wanting to, see what's out there or see where you might be a little bit happier, like you said, you only have so many hours left, so many days left, so many years left. So, why spend it doing something that you don't want to? See what's out there. You should absolutely know. So, if you do reach out to her, like I said, she's exactly the same in a one-to-one as she is here, so don't be afraid or nervous about it at all. If somebody would like to get a hold of me, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community. If you or somebody would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on the website. But Maja, I really appreciate you taking the time. You're out there helping a lot of people, getting them to where they want to go. There's a lot of us that have, maybe we're fed up where we're at, or maybe we're just itching for something new. We're bored, something full-time part, whatever it is.
Yep.
So you're doing awesome things. You're helping a lot of people. So I really appreciate that. So let's all go out. Let's have an awesome day and grow our circles. All right.
Yes. Thank you, Anthony. Namaste. I appreciate you and this channel.
My pleasure.